So second up, we have the comfort of the product. How does it feel when you actually put it onto your ears, when it sits on your head for a long period of time? And as we've discussed before, the materials used in this product aren't exactly the highest quality. The plastic on the headband, the cheap, maybe lightweight nylon that they use on the ear cups. The foam itself inside is also quite a lightweight foam. However, it is quite soft. As I've mentioned, there's no swiveling on the ear cups. It's one fixed headband here. So these don't swivel, and on my head, I didn't necessarily notice a problem. I didn't notice any pressure points developing around my ears, but reviewers online have mentioned, and I feel like maybe their head shape might be a little bit different around the ears or around the overall head shape. So they've mentioned that there are pressure points that you might find developing in certain areas around your ears over long sessions, just because it doesn't have the swiveling to allow adjustment of the headset onto different head shapes. So while I feel like it will suit a lot of different head shapes, it might not suit every head shape. My other slight complaint is that since these two models are obviously very similar, as I pointed out before, they are basically the same design, just the one lacking the buttons that the other one has. I feel like they could have used the design and the comfort of the product to differentiate the two models. They could have maybe used a slightly different material on the ear cups. They could have had some different design features differentiating the wireless from the wired headset. They obviously use the same mold of the plastic press that they use to make these headsets, but I feel like thereafter they could have used some slight little touches to differentiate between the two. So to sum it all up, as far as comfort goes, the wired headset gets a 13 because it does lack a little bit, whereas the wireless headset gets a 14 out of 20 because it does have the extra functionality of not having a cable, which I feel does lend it to be a little bit more comfortable. Okay, third up, we have the functionality of the headsets, and this is where the two headsets will start seeing the differences between each other, since the one is obviously a wireless headset and the other one is a wired headset. So I think let's start mainly with the features that tie themselves into each other, that the two models have in common with each other. And that's basically just having the overall volume. Both headsets have the overall volume control knob. They both have the adjustable ear cups here in the one direction, and they both have the flip to mute microphone. That's basically what the wired headset actually has overall. That's the only functionality the wired headset has. As far as the wireless headset, we have the same overall volume control, we have the same flip to mute microphone, but then we do have the extra buttons over here. As I mentioned before, there's a charging port, there's a power on or off button, there's the slider over here between game volume and party chat volume, which is quite important in modern day gaming when you're playing a lot online. So you need to adjust that balance on the fly, and you can do it with this little slider over here. The other button over here, as I mentioned, is a equalizer button. Turning it on will by default turn on the clear sound. I think that's what they call it. Clear sound is basically turning the bass down a little bit and turning the treble up a little bit. Then turning the button on to the other setting will turn it on to the bass boost setting, which will tone down the treble a little bit and will boost up the bass. Makes the game sound a lot nicer, makes movies sound nicer at times as well. Explosions, gunfire, that kind of thing, you'll hear that a lot better. Now these extra features obviously will use up more battery, but the claimed battery is 16 hours in total. I will assume that 16 hours is just using the headset as a headset, not using any of the boost, not necessarily using the microphone, which will, I'm sure, lower that 16 hours. The other nice thing that you'll see on the wireless headset is when you flip to mute and you flip to turn on, there's an audible little tone that you'll hear in your headset. So you know, not just by flipping, but also by the tone that you'll hear through your headset, that the headset is on or off. It's a nice little difference between the wireless and the wired, because the wireless does that, whereas the wired headset does not have any tone when you turn the headset on or off. So overall, the functionality of the wired headset is very basic. It has an overall volume knob, as I've highlighted before. It has the cable that plugs into a 3.5mm jack. This does, however, allow the wired headset to be used on almost any platform. You can use it on your cell phone, your laptop, your other consoles. You can use it on basically anything that has a 3.5mm jack. However, the wireless headset has a USB dongle that needs to be plugged into the back of an Xbox in order to sync between the two. That means that the wireless headset cannot be used on any other console. It can't really be used on your PC unless you have the Xbox wireless adapter, which is an extra cost to then allow the two to sync between each other like the PC is an Xbox. You can't use it on your phone. It doesn't have Bluetooth functionality. It connects through that dongle, through the Xbox wireless frequency. So the functionality of the wired headset is almost a little bit more than the wireless headset, because the wireless headset can obviously only work on your Xbox, whereas the wired headset, as you would expect, can work on any device that has a 3.5mm jack. So to sum up the scores that both products get for the functionality of it all, I feel like the wired headset obviously is just a wired headset. It could have done with a few extras. It just has the overall volume slider. I would have really liked if it had similar to the wireless headset, if it had a slider that allowed adjusting between game sound and party chat volume. Obviously it doesn't have that, so I feel like it's lacking a little bit. It does have the functionality of being able to be used on any platform out there, but every headphone that has a cable can do that. So I feel like that isn't necessarily a plus point. The wired headset I feel gets a 12 out of 20 as far as functionality goes. It feels like it's lacking a little bit in the market of Turtle Beaches selling for $6.99 with extra features, whereas this with very minimal features on it. It does feel like it's lacking a little bit compared to the other categories, the other products in this category. So the wireless headset, obviously it does have extra functionality. It has the settings that you can adjust. It has the slider between game volume and party chat, which I really feel is a requirement. And at the end of the day, this is a entry-level wireless headset that can compete as far as wireless capability. It can still operate 10 meters away. I've tested it. You can hear your game noise. You can still chat with your friends in a different room from where the Xbox is. So the wireless capabilities competes with the other brands out there. So for basically 800, 600, 700 Rand less than the major brands, than the expensive Razer Threshers and the Turtle Beaches, you can get a wireless headset with a graphic equalizer. Obviously it would be nice if it had an app like the Turtle Beach headset does, where you can create custom settings on the equalizer. But for now, it's just the two adjustments between the bass heavy and the treble heavy. It's nice that it just has the two settings. It would be better if it had more. So I feel like the wireless headset is a 15 out of 20. It's a really solid headset in the market of wireless headsets. You're going to be getting it for a good few hundred Rand less, maybe 200-300 Rand less than most headsets in this category. So the functionality of the wireless headset is very good. It's actually something that should be noted.